everyone! So today I'm going to be showing you a more updated tour of my altar. I did a video on this, I don't know, I think a couple years ago now, like a little tour of it and what everything on it meant and stuff. And I've been getting requests in the comments on that video to make like an updated version. And I kind of want to do it again anyway because my altar has changed quite a bit since then. I've been putting like a lot of energy into it and adding new things to it and making it more meaningful to me and stuff like that. And I'm really enjoying just using it a lot at the moment and just having it around. So I thought I would show you. And just so you know, I'm not going to be explaining what every single piece on it means like I did in the last video because I'll kind of just be repeating myself then because, you know, that's info is already out there in the last video. But I can explain what some of the new pieces mean. And also, in case you haven't seen my last video on my altar and you're wondering or whatever, I have a sort of neo-pagan-ish spirituality. That's the best kind of word that I can find to describe it, but it's not really very strict. I just kind of do whatever feels right to me. So yeah, it's more of just a descriptive word. That's it. Here is my altar. Okay, so here is my altar. As you can see, it isn't on the little chest of drawers that it used to be on. That was in my studio, but it was just getting way too small because as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff on my altar. And I felt like it wasn't really getting enough attention when it was in my art studio, so I've moved it to my bedroom and it is on top of these little shelves. So I'm going to start from this end and go kind of that way. So first, you would have already seen this. It is this dragon statue that is actually an ashtray, but I don't use it as such. I did just have tumbled crystals in it in the top bit, but I've moved them to the bottom and now I have this bull horn here. So this actually used to be a drinking horn, I believe, and I found it at a second-hand shop and bought it, and I felt that it looked a little bit bare, so I just started decorating it. And as I did so, I kind of realised that I wanted to use it as a kind of spiritual tool and keep it on the altar. It's currently on my altar and it's all decorated up and everything, but I'm still working on cleansing it and blessing it. I might actually pick it up for you. I don't know if you can see, but in underneath the horn I have a couple of little crystals and also a hagstone that I found, and I drew a rune on it, but I need to redo it because it's gone all yucky. But I've been putting that kind of stuff like that underneath the horn so the energy can kind of rise up and go into it and stuff like that. And underneath the dragon I have all my little tumbled crystals, as you can see, and also this mushroom. There you go. Which I kind of have on the altar because I just really love mushrooms, and I do feel like a really strong connection with them. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but I'm sure if you already subscribed to me you know how much I love mushrooms, so I had to have one on my altar. And yeah, it just sits in there with all the little crystals. And then over here I have my cauldron, which you would have already seen. Anyway, I've had it for years and I use it for my sage sticks, as you know, and I stuff them out in there and then I put the ashes in the garden or whatever. The cauldron is also, well, for me anyway, I think really good for sage, since cauldron's often used for like banishing things and stuff like that. And then I also have my smudging feather, which I found, of course. And then next to it I have, let me just zoom out a little bit, this piece of selenite. So that kind of just sits on the side there because I'm just really running out of room and I need a bigger altar. And then over here, hanging off of this dragon on the side, I have a little spell pouch. I think this is actually 2 spell pouches, but it is Smite Thee ×3 when I was having kind of a bit of trouble with negative energies and entities hanging about the place. And as soon as I got this, it all just calmed down really quickly, which is good. I mean, if you want to know where to get it, I've talked about this in a previous video, but that was like a year ago, the tag for it. There's actually a website where you can order these, and you can also get spell candles as well. They're really, really good. So I'll leave a link to that in the description if you're interested. But yeah, it's really great because they're already like pre-made, so you can just have them and they just work on their own. Oh, also I didn't mention, but as you can see I also added this cloth to it. It's like a purple velvet with pretty stars, because the white was a bit boring and I've always wanted to have velvet underneath on the altar, so yes. But anyway, so I got this little crystal skull. I got that little crystal, and then I have this sort of crystal wand, nearly, sort of, that I got from my mum as a little art exhibition congratulations gift, which I use a lot. And then I have this one, can't remember, I swear I know what this is called, I'm just having a mental blank, but yeah, I use that one a lot too, and I actually used it for the bullhorn to cleanse. I put it inside of it for a couple of nights, which seemed to work quite well. Then I have this little clear quartz crystal, which is really cute. And this one's fairly new as well, like I only got this the other day. Then I have my Smokey Quartz. I just had to bring it up closer because my camera is playing up and not focusing. As I said in the previous altar video, I used this for regrounding myself after using Moldavite, but also after kind of doing any spells. Okay, my camera is playing up a lot, so I'm really sorry if this isn't in focus. Then I have this piece of labradorite because I have a lot of labradorite on the altar because it's just my favorite crystal. And I also have this wonderful crystal ball, which is also fairly new. I believe it's Smokey Quartz, correct me if I'm wrong. I was never told what it was when I bought it. I work a lot with angels, so I have a little statue to represent that. And I have this really lovely dreamy amethyst, which I love so much. And this is like one of my most favourite crystals that I have. So this amethyst, I got a lot of amethyst if you can't tell, with a clear quartz point sitting on it. Then over here I have some wizards because I kind of work with them in a way as well. So it's that one and that one, and then I got this little dragon. I find that they're really good for protection and stuff like that, which is really great. And also I wanted to originally use this dragon statue to put offerings in, like in this little bit, but I don't know if I'm going to have room at this stage, but maybe when I get a bigger altar, because I need something to hold this horn. Here is the altar pentacle, which is pretty much the same as before, and I don't generally use the little tea lights that are in it. I just have all these little crystals in it. There was more crystals on that, but they keep falling off. Then back over here I have these little fairy statues, because I used to work with fairies a lot when I was younger, and I kind of have been getting back into that again. So I got little fairies to just represent that. I also have this, which I don't think I explained in the last video, if it was even in it, I don't know. I know it just looks like a little bit of fabric, but when I was a little kid in primary school, I think I was about 10, everyone knew like how much I loved fairies. This girl that was in my class made this little tiny dress. So she made this little tiny dress, she sewed it herself, and she gave it to me, and she said if you ever meet, you know, a fairy, give this little dress to them that I made and say it's from me. It's a lot sweeter than how I explained it because, yeah, in the moment stuff, but it's really cute, so I've just kept it on my altar for years and years ever since. Then I got another little dragon statue because there's kind of two main dragons that I work with, so I kind of got one on each side of the altar, I guess kind of just to balance it out, like also with the wizards and the fairies and stuff. I got this little crystal. I got this pretty raven picture. I have a really strong spiritual connection to ravens, hence my username. So that's why I have that. I have this pine cone, just pine trees are like my favourite trees to be around. And I have this wolf picture, which is kind of for a similar purpose to the raven one. One candle. Usually I have two white ones as illuminator candles, but I don't really have room, so I just have the one. Then I have this really cool lapis lazuli point, which I love. I have one for myself and one for my mum. Kind of a long story behind that, but it's kind of meant to be connected in a way. but I use this kind of for goal setting and all of that stuff. Then behind it I have a little rune that I made when I was in high school. As you can see, I have this little porcelain fox on some amethyst. I actually have developed a really strong spiritual connection to foxes as well, and it's related to, I might tell this story in another video, I can if you want, I don't know, but I befriended a wild fox a few months ago now. I was just going for one of my night walks and I was about to leave my favourite spot, and a fox just came up to me and it hung out with me for like half an hour and just sat next to me and groomed itself and had a little sleep. And it was really special because my dog, who is now passed, my family and I always thought that she was very fox-like, and we always gave her like foxish nicknames and stuff like that. And it was, when I met the fox, it was kind of like being with a wild version of her, if that makes sense. So it was really special. And ever since then I've been having lots of dreams about foxes and just stuff like that. So I got a little fox on the altar to represent that. I have my Michael statue. He's wearing a little piece of moldavite, which just hangs around him when I'm not using it, and I like that the green kind of matches the green bits in his wings. Then I have this little kind of brass bowl at his feet, which is for offerings. You can see behind there, it's a bit camouflaged, but I have a Kuan Yin statue because that was one of the first goddesses and stuff that I kind of found on my own when I was younger. And then I have a little Buddha behind her. And then I have a chalice, which just has a fairy in it, and this feather. Part of the feather that looks white is actually a really nice, pretty yellow. This is from a yellow-tailed black cockatoo, which is so cool, and it's really big, if you can see. And I found that in one of my favourite spots out in nature under a big pine tree. So I occasionally use it for smudging, but only if it's for a really important purpose. Then I have this wolf incense holder that I made. I was going to paint it, as some of you know, but I still am really indecisive about it and I'm not sure if I will. Yeah, it was just made with like an air dry clay from a cheap store. And there's the incense. It's actually got werewolf's blood incense, which I think is pretty suiting. And then I have a little theta delta symbol. Then I have this really lovely spirit quartz, and this is fairly new as well, so I haven't really worked a lot with it yet. It takes me a little while to like get to know my crystals before I start really working with them, but yeah, that's my pretty little spirit quartz. And I've got this clear quartz pyramid, which you would have seen before. I also have this little fluorite point, which I love, and I've been using that a lot for protection and stuff. Then going back to here, I have a, I think it's called is it a phantom quartz? Something like that. Might be a little bit hard to see. Then I have this one as well, and this, which is new. I have this labradorite point, which I love so much. It's also one of my favourite crystals, and I know that you can't see many of the flashes in it, but despite that it's still one of my favourites. It's just, I don't know, I love the energy of it and everything, it's so cool. Then I have, I think that's sodalite there, and then I have this little rat statue. I have a very strong connection to rats as well, and the same with bats, which is why I have a little bat one here, which is also porcelain, and a frog. And I just kind of have that one because I got it as a gift when I was younger, and it's kind of a long story, but I made this stick house in the forest, and this mystery person would come and put little gifts like this in it for me, and I would come and find them and stuff. Of course, my blessing wand. And also, just showing this as well, I guess it's kind of part of it, I have my little bag here that I keep tarot cards and stuff in when I go travelling, and I like hang it on the altar. So that is my altar. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for all of the views and lovely comments on my last altar video. I really appreciate it, and I really love hearing about all of your spiritual things in your altars and stuff, and it's always so flattering when people tell me that like my altar is inspiring to them and stuff. Like, that really means a lot, so thank you, and I will see you next time.